Hello once again. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to get set up for your CD, the first of 3 assignments we're going to do in this graphic design unit, and how to incorporate different fonts that might not be available in the set that we have here in GIMP. So to get started for this one, just like last time, we're going to go to File, New, but instead of using the default shape here, we're going to use this option up at the top called Template. These are all pre-formatted sizes. Some are used for posters, other are used for legal documents, some are used for CD covers. So if you notice they're all pre-formatted, we want to select CD cover. If you check this out, 300 pixels per inch or PPI. We'll talk about that more in class as we begin looking at the different elements of printing and screen resolution. But for now, we're just going to select CD cover. You can press OK. And what it gives us is our working space here, our square, where we can put our images and create our CD cover. The next thing I'd like to show you is how to incorporate an image or elements of an image that you found online, and how to put it into this workspace. So as long as you've got the image saved to your U drive, all you have to do is go to File, Open. Instead of New or Create, we're going to select Open. And then we go to our U drive. In this particular instance, I'm going to go to my Pictures folder. And I'm going to select an image that I want to use. I've already got this image of a banana. It's pretty convenient because it's square shaped already. I'm going to use this one for my background. And what we'll see is that GIMP is open in it and in another window. So we can actually toggle between the two. And as long as the window is active or in the front, we can manipulate it, we can make changes, we can copy and paste items out of it. So I want to use this as my background. The first thing I'm going to do is go to Select All. You notice I have the marching ants, knowing that it's selected. And just like a Word document, I can copy or I can paste using our shortcuts. So if I were to select Control C, there we go. I'm going to go into my other workspace or my other window. I'm going to use my shortcut for paste, Control V, and there's my image. If you'll notice, my image is a little bit smaller than my workspace. So perhaps you'd like to have a big white border or fill that space with another color. In this particular instance, I'm going to see if I can make it a little bit larger. In order to do that, we have to use what's known as the Scale tool. So once you have the Scale tool selected, click inside your image, and it'll give you all these points that you can manipulate. So you can certainly do it by hand. I prefer to use this little option over here for 2 reasons. The first is if you notice this link, if we click it, it means that as we change the width or the height, the other dimension will change proportionately, meaning our image won't get squished together or super wide and drawn apart. So I'm going to start scaling this image. That looks like it should be about big enough. I'm going to take my Move tool. I'm going to see if I can't get this in the middle here. So I want it to go pretty much to the edge. I don't mind if I have a little bit of borders. If you're moving around and you want a bit more finesse, you can use the arrow keys on your keyboard. It allows you to do minute changes. So there we go. I kind of like that. There's a sliver of white on the outside and a little bit of white on the top and the bottom. The next feature I want to show you is how to install a font, so text, that might not be available in the options that we have here. There's a whole bunch. Check them out. There's a lot of good ones. But I'm going to show you how we can install a font that we might have gotten offline that's got a particular look that we like. In order to do so, we just open up our internet browser. I do a lot of design work with fonts, so I usually look for designer fonts. Fonts that are sort of cool and sleek. They tend to look good if they're really big or really small. As you can see, I've already checked out a couple of these sites here. The one that I found that I really like, this one was quite good. So each of these sites sort of looks the same. They got their fonts depicted, and they give you an example of how you might use it to create a graphic. So sometimes I'll sort of put together a poster or an image to let you know a little bit how the font looks, but also how it looks with some other elements included in it. So I actually found one that I liked. I like this one quite a bit. It seems to be called Intro. So they'll provide a download link. We're going to go here. And depending what page it looks to, you'll have to look around a little bit. This one's giving us all the examples. It's usually at the bottom of the examples. Alright, so this one's got a whole bunch of different facets. Alright, so we get down here, check it out. We've got Buy Full Version, which we could get for 29 bucks, which would incorporate all those different images we saw. Or you can get the Gimme version, the free version. Also, they've got an option to download. A lot of these designers put together these elements for free, and they say, you know, if you really like my font and you want to pay me, you can give me $5–10. So there's a donate button as well, which is kind of cool. We're going to click on download free version. You'll see downloading over here. Once it's done, you can click on it. And what you have come up is a bunch of files. What we're looking for is one that says the name of the font and has the extension OTF or TFF. And when we click on it, what we'll see is an example of the text. So this is the one that I want to have, this inline one. You'll see an option to install it. So that should be installed now. The other thing, just before I show you how to close it, if the install does not work in that fashion, what you can do is you can copy this. You can go to your Start menu, Control Panel, find where it says Fonts. So this is where it stores all the fonts on our computer. You can actually paste it right in here. So mine looks like it's already installed because it doesn't give me that install feature. So if I go up to the eyes, we should be able to see it. Intro inline regular. So there's my font. It's in my fonts. Now it should work. What you'll have to do, if you've already got your workspace open, is to save it. Do save it as an XCF. We want to have all these layers, so we will save it as a GIMP file. You can go ahead and click Save. Mine's already been saved, so I'm going to close this. And what you'll need to do is actually close GIMP and reopen it. So before you jump right in, I'd recommend perhaps looking for fonts that you like, installing them, and then beginning your design. So I'm going to close this, and through the magic of editing, when I come back, we'll have the image up and running and my font will be installed. Alright, so I've had a chance to close GIMP. I've reopened it. Here's my image, looking the exact same. I'm going to go into my fonts and see if I can find that. So it should say Intro Inline. Intro, there we go. We got our font. So I'm going in and checking out my fonts. I've got my fonts tool selected. Let's check out our fonts. It should say Intro Inline. I wasn't seeing it last, so I had to go check it out. Intro Inline, there we go. So I can put in a text box. And I can start typing away. Now the size right off the bat is 18. It's pretty small. I'm going to start typing anyway. You've got a different area where you type it in, but essentially the rest is the same. I'm going to put Mr. Morin and the banana splits. Then we can manipulate our size in our toolbox. So we can go over here and see a size that works. And if I were to select this text, so I think what I'm going to do is break it up over 3 lines. Mr. Morin and the banana splits. So just like regular text, if we go over here in our toolbox, we can have it right aligned, we can have it center aligned, just like we do in a document. So I think what I'm going to do is have mine center aligned. I'm going to see if I can't get the size even a little bit bigger. You can actually type in what you want. Alright, I think that looks pretty cool as far as the shape goes. So now that we've got that done, we can click outside. Whoops, I accidentally maneuvered mine. What you'll see is there's 4 different regions that you can sort of manipulate in the corners, but there's also 4 regions here where you can play around with the width and the height. So that was the height, this is the width. I accidentally changed one. So that's how you go about installing a font. Don't forget, when you've got your fonts, you can go through, you can change the color of the fonts. So if I wanted to have, say, a green one, now my font's in green. If I wanted something that's a little bit more reminiscent of the banana, maybe I put it in yellow. So now we can see what we've got going on. We've got our text layer, we've got our image on our background, and for all intensive purposes, I've got the beginning of my CD. So play around with it as you go through and you have questions how to do certain things. I'll certainly feel free to come by and show you. There's lots of great tutorials online. Just search what you're looking to do in GIMP, and you'll probably find it there as well.